Final was played, France versus Morocco. I know very many people on the continent of Africa were not necessarily supporting Morocco. Yes, France beat Morocco 2-0 to progress to the semi-finals, meaning no more African countries left in the World Cup, meaning that all the other teams that are left in the World Cup, apart from Argentina, are all from Europe. So something to look forward to as we get closer to the latter stages of the World Cup 2026. It is also a very special day for youth across the country. 122,000 youth are set to benefit from the National Youth Opportunities Towards Advancement, otherwise known as GOtv Business Startup Capital today. And the nationwide launch is ongoing in 18 venues across the country. This is the second tranche of disbursement of this money. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki announced the launch of the 3 billion shillings grant that will benefit 122,000 young people across the country. The launch in Nairobi will be presided over by none other than His Excellency the President William Samoei Ruto, and we'll be getting to our reporters shortly to bring us up to speed with the events happening at the Ulinzi Stadium, which is a venue for the event here in Nairobi. Other things happening, it is only 6 days to the All Kalou, much anticipated All Kalou by-elections. A lot of talk around what is happening in Kalou, Al Kalou, with the mattresses, the boats, the blankets, the gas cylinders and everything. So many people even go to court to challenge what's happening there. IBC has made pronouncements as well. That big discussions around the politics of the by-election in All Kalou. We'll be briefing you on this and a lot more. Today being a Friday, it is a youth perspective. It is all about the youth. Even as I host a panel of young Kenyan political minds to discuss these headlines and even the GOtv Fund that will be launched, the second tranche will be launched today. So do interact with us through our social media pages. On X, it's TV47 Digital. On Facebook, it's TV47 Kenya, the same as Instagram, the same on YouTube where we're streaming live. And remember, the hashtag to use is TV47 Breakfast, hashtag Story Yetu. You can tag me as well at Freddy Ndimuli. Anne Odida is not in studio, but yes, as I informed you earlier, she is on the ground at Ulinzi Stadium. So you can also tag her as well at Anne Odida. She'll be having a lot of discussions around the youth as well. So do stand by for that and a lot more. Even as we wait for the updates from Ulinzi Stadium and elsewhere in the country, remember I told you this event will be at 18 different venues across the country. The event in Nairobi is what is being presided over by President William Ruto. We'll be having reporters from elsewhere as well as we continue with the show, so do stand by for those updates. All right. Let's take a look at today's weather situation even as we wait for those updates from the GOtv Business Startup launch. All right, we start off with Kirinyaga. A bit cloudy today, 24 degrees, the highs, lows of 17 degrees. More or less the same kind of weather in Bomet, partly sunny, but highs of 24 degrees, lows of 13 degrees. That's what is there this morning. Very warm in Wajir despite the cloudy situation. Highs of 32 degrees, not so bad for Wajir. Lows of 24. 24, imagine, is a high in Kirinyaga today and Bomet, and that's the lowest this morning in Wajir. Elsewhere, Mombasa, light rains expected. Kama uko holiday uko pole utaumia kidogo. Highs of 28 degrees, lows of 23. Same situation in Kakamega, scattered thunderstorms with highs of 28 degrees, lows of 19. Light rains also expected in Kitui, 23 degrees, lows, the highs, lows of 17 degrees. Nairobi as well is not so bad this morning. It's a bit warmer than what we witnessed throughout this week, and we do expect it's beautiful Friday weather for all that we're anticipating this lovely Friday as we usher in the weekend. That's the weather situation this morning. All right, let's get some inspiration even as we anticipate those updates from around the country with the quote of the day.
Dreams fade fast without action. Every unattempted goal guarantees a miss. Try, fail, grow, but always take the shot you fear.
Yes, dreams fade very fast without action. You better take action on that dream you have, or otherwise that will be a missed opportunity. That's the quote of the day. Let's now come back and take a look at the dailies, both local and the regional ones that we have, because one of the countries have decided that they do not have anything to update the rest of the region. That is Uganda I'm talking about. We do not have any daily from Uganda today. Remember, the Daily Monitor was shut down by the government, and the New Vision, wameona ni kama they have nothing to update us this morning, so they are yet to update their daily newspaper. But local dailies are with matters to do with the All Kalou by-elections, Talanta Stadium, how much they are yet to spend on the Talanta Stadium, a lot more on back to All Kalou and what people are saying about going back to courts to question whether or not the government is engaging in voter bribery. Do you think boats equates to voter bribery? See, everyone needs boats across the country. Yeah? All right. Anyway, let's take a look at the newspapers today. All right, and most of the papers today are all focusing on what's happening in All Kalou 6 days before the much anticipated by-election. And let me start with the Standard. I think it's a bit more controversial. Open bribery, they call it. Yes, campaign bonanza. They say open bribery and IEBC is all back without bite. Never before has All Kalou witnessed such a flood of government projects, cash, and senior state officials. A constituency that had been neglected for years has suddenly become the focus of an extraordinary spending spree as Kenya Kwanza seeks to deliver victory for its candidate in a by-election referendum on President William Ruto's support in Mount Kenya. Critics warn the vote buying is happening in broad daylight as a hapless IEBC issues repeated warnings but appears powerless to enforce the Electoral Code of Conduct. Voter bribery should be noted. It should be noted that it is an electoral offence and it can actually lead to disqualification of a candidate. But it would appear, according to this paper, IEBC is issuing repeated warnings but appears powerless to enforce the Electoral Code of Conduct. So we have the image or a picture of the IEBC chairperson. He's called Mr. Ethicon. And with arrows pointing at some of the goodies directed towards the electorate in All Kalou. Government branded mattresses is one of them. I don't understand why they have to be branded. Water pipes, we have electricity poles, we have gas cylinders, and we have boats there as well. Yeah. So this is the main story on the front page of the Standard. But before we even continue with more on the Standard, because we'd like to look at the issues that this main story is addressing, let's now get the very first update of what's happening at the Ulinzi Stadium. As I had promised earlier and as I had informed you, my colleague Anne Odida is this morning stationed there. She is the lead anchor telling us more about what's happening at the Ulinzi Stadium. Good morning, Anne. I hope you're keeping warm this morning. What do we anticipate at the Ulinzi Stadium today and what exactly is happening there? Give us more details.
All right, Fred, a very good morning to you. Well, it's a very cold morning here at Ulinzi Sports Complex, and you're right, it's all systems go at this particular sports complex where, as we await or anticipate the second tranche of Nyota Business, that is the rollout of the second tranche of Nyota Business support funding, which will be presided over by President William Ruto himself. And that is the most exciting part about it, because 18 different regions across the country will be hosting this particular rollout. And in Nairobi, President William Ruto will be stationed right here at the Ulinzi Sports Complex, and he will be personally speaking to the beneficiaries who are already here. And of course, John's camera person will be showing you that just any moment from now. Nyota, of course, is the National Youth Opportunities Towards Advancement and flagship youth empowerment. That is one of the government's flagship youth empowerment that is aimed at supporting young entrepreneurs with startup capital, business training, youth employment, among other things. And Fred, for this second phase, 3 billion shillings had been allocated to directly benefit 122,000 young Kenyans or young entrepreneurs across all the 47 counties, Fred. This means, this is happening across the 47 counties simultaneously, and by that it means that unlike the previous region by region regional cluster rollout, this time round the second tranche will land at the exact same time to everyone. And as I've said at the beginning, 18 distinct regional venues across the country will benefit from this. Just to mention but a few, we have counties like Nairobi itself, the capital city. We have Nakuru, we have Murang'a, we have Eldoret, Mandera, Malindi, Kisii, Chuka, among just other counties to mention a few. And of course, we'll be talking to the beneficiaries that are already here just to hear from them what they think of this particular initiative, if at all they have benefited from it in one way or the other. Every verified beneficiary, Fred, will receive 25,000 Kenyan shillings, and this will act as a final installment following similar amount disbursed during the project's inception earlier this year, where every beneficiary received 25,000 Kenyan shillings, Fred. And this will mean that by the end of this program, every entrepreneur, every young Kenyan would have received a total amount of 50,000 Kenyan shillings for business support, Fred. And remember that for the very first rollout, about 250 million Kenyan shillings was allocated to 9,500 Kenyans from 6 North Rift counties of Turkana, West Pokot, Trans Nzoia, Nandi, Uasin Gishu, and Elgeyo Marakwet. Remember that for this second rollout, it is targeting 122,000 Kenyans. That means once again that every beneficiary is going to get 25,000 Kenya shillings. What will be reflecting on the wallet is 22,000 Kenya shillings, because 3,000 Kenya shillings will be forwarded towards their savings. Of course, the government is working on that. And Fred, beneficiaries for this second program were set to undergo business development training before accessing the full amount, which President William Ruto said at the beginning of this week on Monday that every beneficiary, selected beneficiary, were here and already undergone a special training for this particular program. So they're very much ready, and they are all set here this morning to receive that particular amount, 25,000 Kenya shillings, which win for them. It is important to remind our viewers this morning, Fred, that the GOtv initiative is jointly funded by the government of Kenya and the World Bank, and it is designed to expand economic opportunities, Fred, for young people through enterprise development, skills training, and once again, employment opportunities. It is a 5-year initiative targeting 820,000 Kenyans, Fred, and that is 820,000 unemployed young people aged between 19 years to 29 years up to 35 years for the disabled Kenyans, persons with disabilities rather. And it is just an approach that is targeting a multi-agency involving State Department for Youth Affairs. We have the Micro and Small Enterprises Authority. There's also NITA, that is the National Industry Training Authority. We have the National Employment Authority and State Department for Labor and Skills Development. Fred, once again, President William Ruto will be stationed right here at the Ulinzi Sports Complex across the 18 regions across the country. There will be cabinet secretaries who will be, presiding over this particular rollout from those 18 regions, and Deputy President Kithure Kindiki will be stationed in Nakuru this morning as we anticipate the second of the GOtv program. And of course, once again, we'll be speaking to beneficiaries the Nyota program, just to hear from them what they think of this second rollout and what they did with the first 25,000 Kenyan shillings that was allotted to them when this particular program was being rolled out earlier this year, Fred. That's it from me at this hour, and I'll see you again at 8 a.m. once, of course, President William Ruto makes his way here, and as we anticipate also other leaders to also join in here, including the PS for MSMEs and all other business stakeholders. Will be keeping you updated. Fred, that's it from me, and back to you in studio.
Thank you so much, Anne. Anne Odida bringing us a live update from the Ulinzi Sports Complex, the venue of the disbursement of the second tranche of the Nyota Business Capital Fund. This is happening, a total of 3 billion shillings to be distributed to 122,000 young Kenyans across 18 venues countrywide. The one in Nairobi, which will be happening at the Ulinzi Sports Complex, will be presided over by none other than President William Ruto. And of course, that's the main coverage this morning. We'll be heading back there to the Ulinzi Sports Complex for more updates as we continue with the show. But we will be bringing you live the events as they happen once the president does it at the venue. Back to our news review. Started, which lays squarely at the doorstep of the IEBC chairperson. The events happening in Kalou, and they call it open bribery. The actions by government in distributing goodies to voters or to the electorate in Kalou ahead or just days before the by-election. By-election spars spending spree allowed despite warning by IEBC. The IEBC has just been reduced to issuing a warning. They can do nothing else. That's as far as Kalou is concerned. Other stories inside the Standard: 80 Kenyans die of cancer daily as MPs push for more funding. That's a story on page 3, and you can read it there and understand more of that. More stories there. Arrest Gachagua if you have any evidence. DCP dares Murkomen. Very interesting there. On the back page, matters FIFA World Cup. Belgium hoping to crack Spain's ironclad defense. The second quarterfinal match at the FIFA World Cup, which will be played today. Spain versus Belgium, both European teams there. Kickoff at 10 p.m. Those to look forward to: Leandro Trossard of Belgium will be facing Lamine Yamal of Spain. These are some of the stars that will be featuring in the second quarterfinal. Remember, the first quarterfinal, France beat Morocco 2-0, meaning that no African team is still left at the FIFA World Cup. It is all European countries apart from Argentina. All right, so that's the Standard, and it's the first paper we are looking at today. The second one, which still talks about Kalou, is a Star. And this is a Weekend Star, quite a heavy paper today, I think, because it has a Siasa pullout. Why Kalou is a do or die for Ruto and Rigathi teams. That's the main story there. It has images of the president, the DCP party leader, and the two candidates who are fighting out. The top two candidates who are fighting out. One UDA candidate is Samuel Mushina Nyaga, and the DCP Kamaungodo. Both are Sami. So DCP versus UDA there. IBC warns it may delay if violence persists. There are instances where violence has been reported there. Also, claims of voter bribery. So this is a story that forms the spread on page 4 and 5, which is usually the main coverage by the Star. So IEBC says that it could postpone or delay the by-election if at all these malpractices continue. Kalou is a do or die. Defeat for Gachagua would expose weakness in his team and provide ammunition to critics who argue he does not have control of the region. So although only one parliamentary seat is at stake, it is believed that the contest carries significance far beyond Nyandarua County. Meanwhile, IBC says, we may delay Kalou by election if violence persists. Now, the candidates are more than just the UDA and DCP candidate, and I think I applaud the Star. I'm applauding the Star for actually letting us know all the candidates who number 9 in total. There's a PNU candidate, Edwin Moshiri. There's a People's Renaissance Movement candidate, Timothy Kamau Kariuki. There's a National Liberal Party candidate, Stephen Wanyoike. There's also a candidate, Rachel Wangui Njoroge. Even Jubilee, which could be said is part of the United alternative government, has a candidate there in the name of Wilson Kegwa. Federal Party also has a candidate, Abdi Fattah Hussein, and Kenya Moja, K1, also has a candidate, Edward Mathenge Mwaneki. All these candidates alongside DCP's Sami Kamau Ngodho and UDA's Samuel Mushina Nyaga. 9 candidates in total at the Ol Kalou by-election. Other quick stories inside the Star. KWS lawyer possibly died from depression, says DCI. This is a Kenya Forest Service manager for legal services, Esther Wairimo, whose body was discovered dumped somewhere. Now the DCI says she must have died of depression. Interesting. All right. Back page matters World Cup. Will Spain survive is a big question today. La Roja rock-solid defense faces stunned Belgium test in World Cup quarter-final. That's a big one there. Neymar future uncertain after Brazil exit race. We are not talking about people who exited. Tunaongea kuhusu wale wamebaki. Wale waliondoka. If your team at the World Cup left, you can go back to what you do elsewhere. No, don't worry. You can still stick. There's still a lot more action. After the quarterfinals, we move to the semis next weekend. Odira upbeat after Prefontaine win ahead of Commonwealth Games, Matter Athletics. This is World 800 meters champion Lilian Odira, who believes the emphatic victory at the Prefontaine Classic has provided ideal confidence boost as she gears up for the Commonwealth Games in Scotland. That's the Star. Fresh, independent, different. This is the Weekend Star. It comes with a Siasa pullout, where they have stories about Ruto's 2027 minorities game plan and another story on the High Court disagreeing about hiring and sacking of CSs. That's the Siasa pullout. Grab yourself a copy of the Weekend Star for 60 shillings in Kenya, 1,000 bob in Tanzania, and 2,000 bob in Uganda. Still another daily talking about what's happening in Ol Kalou. Yes, let me take a look at the by-election. Again, Daily Nation. Battle of bigwigs in Ol Kalou race. So here what they've done is included Uhuru Kenyatta in the mix. Yeah, so the Star talks about what IBC is doing. The Weekend Star talks, the Standard talks about what the IBC is doing. The Weekend Star talks about the race between William Ruto and Gachagua. And now the Daily Nation includes Uhuru Kenyatta in the mix. So, ruling UDA, former President's Jubilee and Gachagua's DCP to field candidates, as IEBC warns it may postpone mini election, and we've seen that angle on the Star. So it is an acid test for President William Ruto, his predecessor Uhuru Kenyatta, and his estranged former deputy Rigathi Gachagua. Next week's Ol Kalou parliamentary by-election is far more than a race for a vacant seat. The outcome of Thursday's closely contested vote will not only shape the battle for supremacy in Mount Kenya, but also offer the 3 political heavyweights an early gauge of their standing as they recalibrate their strategies for next year's general election. The story covered on pages 4 and 5. They have another story here about Talanta Stadium. State set to pay 6.9 billion shillings for Talanta this month. The payment, flagged by Controller of Budget Margaret Nyakango, will raise total disbursements to the contractor, CRBC, that's the China Road and Bridge Corporation, to 28.97 billion shillings since construction began on March 1st, 2024. The story is on page 8, and there's been a lot of controversy around how much we are going to pay for the Talanta Stadium. If at all the initial costing was about 45 billion shillings, then if we pay that 6 billion, it brings it to 28 billion. We should be ahead. We should have paid more than half, but bado tuko mbali. Tunaanza tu. By the end, we'll be paying over 100 billion shillings. Mary Wamboi loses bid to stop hotel takeover. There's a businesswoman who has failed to stop Equity Bank from taking over her Glee Hotel after the High Court declined to suspend the lender's appointment of an administrator. Inside pages, Omondi Tunya, the magistrate of Kenya's dark courtroom years. Tunya's court was where the journey from Nyayo House to prison ended. To the judiciary, he was a distinguished career officer who rose from the magistracy to the High Court, but to many former detainees, lawyers, and pro-democracy activists, his name belongs to a darker archive, and they've covered this story on pages 2 and 3. Juzi tuko naongelelea mambo ya Sabasaba. Ukisoma hii hadithi, page 2 and 3 of the Daily Nation utaelewa zaidi. All right, we've talked about Kalou, we've talked about IEBC. Now, the court has barred speakers from using offices in campaigns. It was part of our discussion yesterday. Moses Wetangula and Jeffer Kingi, Amason Kingi of the Senate, have been temporarily barred from using the benefits of their offices to campaign for any candidate until the case is heard and determined. All right, on the back page, matters FIFA World Cup on the Daily Nation. Messi, Mbappe, Haaland locked in thrilling race for the Golden Boot Award. Those are the top scorers so far. Messi of Spain, Mbappe of France, and Haaland of Norway. Haaland knew Norway? Yeah, I guess. Spain's well-oiled machine faces Belgium. Blast tonight. Once again, the two quarterfinals being played today. Spain versus Belgium, kickoff at 10 p.m. And then Norway versus England. At midnight, then followed by Argentina versus Switzerland at 4 a.m. tomorrow. So we'll be done with the quarterfinals by tomorrow morning, and then we look forward to the semi-finals. That's the Daily Nation. I think another paper that has matters to do with the Kalou by-election is a People Daily, which talks about IEBC facing uphill battle to enforce rules ahead of the next polls. We've seen that angle. But the main story on the front page of the People Daily is the route of strategy. Neutralizing threats before the 2027 race. That's the analysis on page 4 of the People Daily. All right, so those are the main dailies, I think, apart from the Business Daily, all of them talking about matters politics with a focus on the Kalou by-elections. Let's take a look at some business as we come to a close. Kuna gazeti la Taifa Leo, samahani. Gazeti la Taifa Leo lazungumzia uwanja wa Talanta. Talanta yatafuna mabilioni. Uwanja huo ni miongoni mwa viwanja vitakavyotumika kwa mashindano ya AFCON hapo mwaka ujao. Kuna tahadhari hapa. Mkaguzi mkuu wa hesabu za serikali Nancy Gathungu ameelezea hofu kuhusu gharama ya ujenzi wa uwanja wa Talanta na iwapo walipa ushuru wanapata thamani ya fedha zinazotumika. Gharama ya mradi huo iliongezwa kutoka bilioni 35 hadi 45.85, ongezeko la shilingi bilioni 10.8. Vidokezo zaidi kwenye ukurasa wa mbele. Weta Kingi wapigwa breki kotini, tumeyazungumzia hayo kwingineko. Askari 4 wadaiwa kuiba pishori. Si askari, ni washukiwa 4 wadaiwa kuiba pishori ya shilingi bilioni 2. Washukiwa kuzuiliwa kwa siku 14, polisi wakiendelea na uchunguzi wa wizi siku ya 7. Pale chini, Trump atoa vitisho tena kwa Iran. Nilidhani habari hizo zilikuwa zimekwisha, tunarejelea masuala ya Strait of Hormuz. Pale juu kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa Taifa Leo, DCI kufuatilia sakata ya mishahara, na Uhispania kuchuana na Ubelgiji. Kaende ni mechi ya robo finali kukutanisha miamba wanaolenga kuandikisha historia kombe la dunia. Masuala ya biashara karaka. Vodacom, Absa target 21 billion extra dividends in Kenya deals. That's the main story on the front page of the Business Daily. On the ticker mention of Safaricom, which is barring use of reserves for share buybacks and business closures, surge on liquidations and bankruptcy. That's the Business Daily. I'd informed you earlier that at least one of the East African nations that usually get their papers have decided they have nothing to tell us. That's Uganda. We do not have either of their dailies. Daily Monitor is still shut down by the administration there. And New Vision bado hawajaamka. Uganda ni Friday, na unajua vile wanapenda happy. So we don't have even the New Vision. So we go straight to Tanzania. And we start off with the Citizen. Inside CCM ACT political reconciliation agreement. That political piece of news is important enough to feature on the front page of the Citizen, which is a business paper. So constitutional review, electoral, judicial and legal reform, as well as public service accountability are among issues agreed by CCM and ACT Wazalendo in their new political reconciliation accord in Zanzibar. These are the two parties. CCM, of course, the ruling party. ACT Wazalendo is part of the opposition, but has agreed to form government of national unity with the ruling party, and they've struck a deal already. Ni hadithi ile kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti la Mwananchi. CCM ACT Zanzibar ukurasa mpya. Ni baada ya kusaini tamko la pamoja la maridhiano ya kisiasa lenye vipengele 7, lalenga kujenga imani na kuaminiana kupitia upya katiba, mfumo wa uendeshaji wa uchaguzi, viongozi wakuu washuhudia wakitoa yaliyo moyoni. ndio habari kuu kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa Tanzania. The main talking point in Tanzania, CCM, ACT, Wazalendo. Tukirejelea nyumbani, we take a look at the cartoons now. That Dangote oil deal makes it to the cartoons. So it's a truck here, imeandikwa Dangote oil, being driven by the president and his deputy. Wanaangalia kagari kadogo kule Tanzania kanaendeshwa na mama. Bado ako na mitungi ya mafuta. Naambiwa toka mbele tupite bana. Wewe ulikataa hii deal, sisi tuko mbele. That's a cartoon on the Daily Nation. The one on the Standard talks about what's happening to the United Alternative Government now that there are apparent triangles about appointing or coming up with a single flag bearer. So one of them says Kalonzo it is, or there's no deal. Another one says only our man Matiang'i can beat Ruto. The cartoon on the Standard. Mwingine anasema this time the Mulembe nation is going all the way with Sifuna. Na mwingine anasema hey, it must be Wamunyoro or Mulima will go it alone. The commentator ameshindwa, amesema disunity is strength. Disunity is strength. Okay. Cartoon on the Star, it makes reference to the comments by ODM party leader Dr. Oburu Oginga. Now it's a cartoon on the Star. When he talked about, it was early this house, Oburu Oginga said that he would wish that there was a bit of benevolent dictatorship in Kenya to allow things to move. At it too much, what? So they have, I don't know, the image of the former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, who is one of the biggest fighters for democracy. And the cartoonist suggests that listening to his brother talk about too much democracy, Raila Odinga turn in his grave. At it too much what? Benevolent Angoa. That's a Star. And the Stano's take on the People Daily, that court decision about speakers and their involvement in politics. So the court looking at the president and telling him, remove the gloves. Gloves ni nini king inawetangula. Lakini when you remove the glove, that expression is different. It means it's a bare knuckles fight. Anyway, that's a cartoon on the Standard. These are just some of the stories we'll be looking at and discussions we'll be having with made of young Kenyans. Today we'll be having Njeri Kahiga, who's a national youth leader, Edwin Mawera Njage, who's a UDM Mount Kenya Nairobi Metropolis strategist, as well as Angel Mbudhia, chairperson, Jubilee Youth League. They'll be in studio. A lot of discussions around what's happening in Kalou, as well as what else is happening to young Kenyans with political minds. This after the break. But before that, let's have a quick look at the traffic situation on the major roads in Nairobi. All right, and it would appear we are having a very easy Friday on our major roads. I'm looking at the Eastern Bypass, very little traffic in comparison to what we've witnessed this whole week. In areas like Utawala heading towards the airport, even at the KQ headquarters, not so bad. A bit of traffic as you get closer to the interchange with Outer Ring Road, but after that, it's smooth all the way to Cabanas. Outer Ring Road itself is green on both sides of the road between the Eastern Bypass and Thika Road. And talking about Thika Road, this is strange. This is the first time I'm seeing the road green all the way from Ruiru, and the first instance of traffic we are seeing is at KCA University. Yeah? Kwani Thika Road mumeamua aje? Leo amwendi kazi. Yeah. There's traffic at KCA University and of course at the Pangani interchange as usual. Taking a look at Jogoo Road, it is also not so bad. It's 33 minutes past 6. And the only stretch that is problematic is the usual culprit there at Makadara. But after that, it's smooth all the way into town. Just a bit of traffic there at Mudhuru as you got closer to the Landis Road roundabout. Haile Selassie Avenue between Railways roundabout and Landis Road, not so bad. In comparison to earlier this week, of course. Mombasa Road, all the way to town, just a bit of traffic before Ole Sereni, and that I think is where the expressway meets the main road. Other than that, it's smooth all the way into town. Even Waiaki on the opposite side, nothing to report. Ngong Road, a bit of traffic at Prestige Plaza, the cross junction. After that, it's smooth all the way into the CBD. So quite smooth traffic today. I don't know why, but it's interesting. Ni kama watu wameamua leo, or probably they're going to work much later in the day. Wali watch World Cup jana. and France won. So that's the traffic situation this morning. Just before we take a break, and of course we just need to remind you that today we will be featuring the disbursement of the second tranche of the National Youth Opportunities Towards Advancement, otherwise known as Nyota Business Startup Capital. It's happening at 18 venues across the country. Here in Nairobi, the main event is at the Ulinzi Sports Complex, an event that will be presided over by none other than President William Ruto. Our teams are stationed across all venues in the country. Ann Odida is at the Ulinzi Sports Complex. She's already given us one update and she'll be back with more even as we continue. Keep interacting with us on our social media pages, TV47 Digital on X, TV47 Kenya on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube, where we're streaming live. Use the hashtag TV47 Breakfast, hashtag Story Nietu. You can tag me on X. My handle is at Freddy Ndimuli.
8:30 p.m. on TV47. Sundays at 8:30 p.m.
Good morning.
You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza simu yako. Hamna pesa.
I need just to make my nails today.
Sasa inatuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na trade. Nimeekelea kitele yangu. Kitele yangu na trade. Ikikunyuma.
Oh my God. He left me. Nitumie ni live.
Uko nje kuna Wi-Fi.
Why? Hi-Fi?
Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea.
The cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tamulini kero make a beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already.
We won't entertain divas.
No. I'm not dealing with a man child.
Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
My father used to tell me that our hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Ooh, yeah. We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m.
This is a very serious place.
I see that. Surely. Hey, Nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
It's a chair. It was hers.
You're new here?
Yes.
You learned the rhythm.
This place is run by structure. Structure.
It is a system. Ni venye tu ni system haisikizi.
And what happens if something you haven't chosen enters your day?
I remove it.
That's not always going to be possible here.
Then you are going to have a problem.
Noted.
What are you planning? To escape from a resort?
This is not a resort, my friend. This is a storage.
Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47.
I just want to be in the zone.
Nairobi, where the hustle never sleeps and neither do the scammers.
Link Up, we are talking about something that's affecting all of us. We are talking trust.
We're diving into the campus life.
I just want to be in the zone.
Stay fresh, stay safe.
Stay linked up.
My father used to tell me that our hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Ooh, yeah. We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the faster. Welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
This is a very serious place.
I see that.
Surely. Hey, Nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
It's a chair. It was hers.
You're new here?
Yes.
You learned the rhythm.
This place is run by structure. Structure.
It is a system. Ni venye tu huu ni system haisikizi.
And what happens if something you haven't chosen enters your day?
I remove it.
That's not always going to be possible here.
Then you are going to have a problem.
Noted.
What are you planning? To escape from a resort?
This is not a resort, my friend. This is a storage.
You have to be very careful. Fake money can kill business.
Na leo mko rada yangu.
Small money, kapesa kadogo, big behavior.
I only have big notes.
Alikuwa anatafuta courage.
Yani nafaje kutengeneza
IEBC chairperson Erasta Sethekon has raised concern over the Kalou constituency by-election, warning that allegations of voter bribery, violence and violation of the Electoral Code of Conduct risk undermining the credibility of the poll.
The elections must be free from harassment, intimidation, violence, bribery and undue influence. We also expect these candidates to give the citizens of Kalou the opportunity to exercise their sovereignty.
Sethekon says the commission is prepared to act, warning that should the security situation worsen or the integrity of the process be compromised, the by-election could be postponed or even cancelled.
We will be left with no choice other than to take the most unfortunate and drastic step of postponing the elections in Kalou. And if that's not enough, we will cancel it altogether.
Reports of late-night campaign violence, alleged voter bribery and fears of hired gangs disrupting the election have prompted the IEBC to dispatch investigative teams to verify the claims. This, as Sethekon says, firm action will be taken where evidence is established. He has also urged investigative agencies, including the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, to pursue any criminal offences, stressing the need to safeguard the integrity of the electoral process ahead of the 2027 general election.
Daytime, the place is peaceful. At night, madness descends. And the political parties and their supporters engage in running battles, defacing each other's campaign posters and materials, engaging in physical confrontations and fights.
Even as political tensions continue to rise, residents of Kalou are witnessing a rollout of several government development projects. While residents have welcomed the projects, their timing has also sparked debate, with critics questioning whether such initiatives rolled out during an active campaign period could influence voter decisions. The developments have reignited the conversation on where the line should be drawn between government service delivery and political campaigning.
We have also been alerted of the presence of state officials in Kalou, which is not a problem as long as they are doing their ordinary duties. But where they are there to interfere, that is also very unfortunate.
The Kalou by-election is increasingly being viewed as a key test of Kenya's electoral system. Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu has reminded stakeholders that credible elections are defined not only by the outcome, but by the integrity, transparency, and fairness of the process, reflecting the genuine will of the people.
Whether it be about numbers, whether it be about laws, whether it be about processes, an election must, at the end of the day, be a true reflection of the will of the people.
Make the work of the loser easier. Because in Kenya, politicians never lose. The elections are stolen and all the rest that goes with it. Make it so clear that the loser accepts the decision.
As Kenya prepares for the 2027 general election, the Kalou by-election is emerging as an important barometer of the country's electoral preparedness. The IEBC maintains it is committed to delivering a free, fair and credible poll, but the unfolding events underscore the delicate balance between political competition and electoral integrity.
Yes, Kalou by-election, 6 days to go. And we've already begun the countdown. But questions do arise about the integrity of the election, the kind of allegations being made, the even, let me say, apprehension as expressed by the IEBC chairperson on the processes so far, the manner of campaigns, cases or instances of violence, and all these things now bring into focus questions around integrity of these elections. Once again, I'd like to applaud this Weekend Star on its story about this. It is, I think, one of the 4 dailies that talks about the Kalou by-election. At least the Star has given us a list of all the 9 candidates taking part in the by-election. Once again, let me read their names so that you understand, because we've just been talking about UDA and DCP here. Timothy Kamau Kariuki of the People's Renaissance Movement, Rachel Wangui Njoroge of PDP, Stephen Wanyoike of the National Liberal Party, Federal Party's candidate Abdi Fatah Hussein, Kenya One, or Kenya Moja, they have a candidate by the name Edward Mathenge Mwaneki, PNU has a candidate, Edwin Moshiri, Jubilee Party has a candidate, Wilson Kegwa, and then the 2 most talked about candidates, Samuel Mushina Nyaga of UDA and DCP's Sami Kamau Ngodho. So questions now getting to a point where issues around integrity are coming up, and you've heard what the IEBC chairperson, Bwana Ethekon, has said. Today being a Friday, of course, it is a youth perspective. We have in studio with us for the very first time on TV47 Breakfast, Edwin Mawera Njagi, who's a UDA Mount Kenya and Nairobi Metropolis strategist. So some of these strategies you see in Mount Kenya, Edwin is the man behind them. Karibu sana. It's good to have you in studio.
Fred. Thank you so much.
Njeri Kahiga makes a comeback to TV47 Breakfast. Njeri, karibu sana. She's a national youth leader with the DCP party. Karibu Njeri, it's good to have you in studio. And we are hoping Angel Mbudhia, chairperson Jubilee Youth League, will be joining us shortly on set as we discuss this. So let's start off with you, Edwin. And you can see the papers today. The Standard talking already about open bribery. The IEBC chairperson coming out and said, and pointing out issues around bribery as well as other things, and even threatening to delay the polls if these things continue. Do you agree that there are serious questions about the integrity of the Kalou by-elections, 6 days to the day?
First, Fred, you will agree with me that the opposition has been on the forefront of crying out loud for lack of an agenda. These are the same people who came out scathingly, talking about Kasongo and, one term all over their campaign platforms. And they deviated from the main agenda, which is campaigning for their candidate. And once they've been cornered, they've now retreated to theatrics and talking about how there's an election going to be rigged. You've seen some Yala member of parliament a day before yesterday talking about how there's a plan to rig the election. And I don't know who's planning to rig the election. And also, we want to tell the IEBC that we're not ready for a postponement, actually. If it is happening so that people can say that the UDA party is out to, interfere with the election, that is not true. It is the opposition that has come out so strongly, barring people, our agents from entering Kalou. Wanjiku Mohia is on record talking about how if they see someone who's not from the region or from the constituency, they should, do whatever they have to do to them. So these are people who have no agenda, and instead of campaigning for their candidate, they've now deviated to theatrics and talking about how the election is going to be rigged and stuff.
Yet, Edwin, the Standard is not the opposition, and they talk about open bribery, which they accuse the IEBC of back without bite. But we've had the IEBC chairperson talking about this and saying, yes, there are instances or there are allegations of voter bribery as well. These are serious issues about the integrity of the question of the by-election, even before the voting ballot day itself, where probably there would be rigging, if at all.
Did the IEBC chair talk about UDA rigging the election?
No.
Oh, okay.
He said there are allegations of voter bribery. It's the Standard that actually points out to some of the activities by the government, which the ruling party has a candidate there.
The Standard is the opposition.
How now? That's the media.
But this is one of the papers that have been out here. You remember even our president talking about how these people have been all over the place talking about, shooting down every government project that has been initiated by this government. So some of these people, and I want to applaud you, the TV47 and Cape Media, you've stayed on your lane, without interfering with politics, because, the media is supposed to inform, and that is the business of the media. But when the media takes sides, then we have serious questions to ask about that. We have no problem with the IEBC chair talking about all these. They have their mechanisms of getting the information however they can. So we let them say whatever they want to say. But in matters postponement of the election, if they do, then the UDA party and DCP and Jubilee, whoever else is running, we all become party of the consequences of an election being postponed. So no one should make it look like it's a new DA issue, because that is what people are out to make it look like.
All right.
Yeah.
Jerry, many of your party officials, top-ranking officials, have talked about issues around bribery. Yet the United Alternative Government has been accused, or the parties therein have been accused of crying foul every time. And in all these by-elections, are we expecting the same, that after this polls next week, it is the same crying that, oh, there was this and that?
First of all, I would like to inform the colleague on the bench today from UDA party that this is Daily Nation, and it is talking of IEBC wants it may postpone mini election, and it is also citing insecurity, voter bribery, and other breaches of the Electoral Code of Conduct. So when you tell us that the Standard is a biased media, you might be telling us Daily Nation is also a biased media. You might also be telling us that our eyes and our ears have a problem, because I don't understand why things that are black and white, we need to keep explaining around them. Whatever is happening in Kalou has never been heard of. We've never seen such things in our entire lives since independence.
There were claims, similar claims after the Mbere by-election.
And you see, unfortunately, we are open to information that is accessible to everybody. You've listened to the people of Mbere complain about transformers being removed from their area. And you've seen KPLC has gone ahead to give a notice that 15 transformers are undergoing some sort of renovation. I don't know what it is they are doing with the 15 transformers. And I have to tell people from the UDA party, even if you want to defend government, some things are beyond defense. How do you defend that government is planning to remove hippos from one dam to another dam just because they want to show the people of Kalou how committed they are? How do you tell the people of Nyandarua that suddenly government has remembered they have a lake called Oborosat, the only fresh lake in our region, and they have decided to bring us a boat? How do you tell the people of this country that suddenly you've realized that the people of Nyandarua should be using a gas and you've brought them 20,000 cylinders? How do you tell the people of Nyandarua that suddenly you've remembered Kalou does not have 100% connectivity on electricity, and you've decided to bring them poles in a rolly? And yet the other times when budget allocation has been done, you bring 2 posts per every financial year. But suddenly somewhere you got 10 to 50 poles to bring to a constituency. How do you tell the people of Nyandarua that right now you are drilling boreholes overnight, the moment you walk into a village and they tell you, this village, our problem is a borehole, and tomorrow morning there is a rolly drilling a borehole? When did you award the tender? When did you discuss
Jerry,
the BQ?
Sudden or not, the government may argue that these are government programs.
I agree.
Whether it's sudden or not, they were still supposed to do this.
I agree they are government programs, but again, I'm educated enough to understand the procurement processes. You cannot be going to the ground and doing an audited project. You cannot tell us that overnight you've awarded a tender. Which avenue did you advertise? Who did you give the chance to apply for the tender? You cannot drill a borehole overnight. You cannot do piping overnight. You cannot do electrical poles overnight. There was no public participation. There was nothing that shown a process was followed. Then how are we going to audit this development? Are we supposed to say that this year, financial year, Kalou constituency, in our allocation of around 190 million, this is what we spent on electricity, this is what we spent on school fees? We cannot disagree to development, but again, we have to be very keen not to get development at the expense of our constitution. Because at the end of the day, I realized the other day that government has maybe now spent almost over $1 billion with a few things they are doing. When they go to backdate these projects, if they say they spent 10 billion, how can we say they did not? Because they are literally doing things without following the procedures. Are we telling the country that it's okay for development to come as long as it's government? Then what happens tomorrow when I become a woman rep and the people of Nyandarua ask me what happened? Where did this money that the government auditor, general auditor is talking about was spent in Nyandarua? How can I tell the people of Nyandarua that it is true this 10 billion was given in this whole constituency when I'm supposed to do oversight? So we don't have a problem with government bringing all these goodies that they talk about. It's the right of the people. I agree. But I have a problem when you bring mattresses written government of Kenya. I am saddened by the fact that today, some hospitals, we have people sleeping in one bed, 3 people. I have a problem with people sleeping on the floor. If we walk into hospitals today at Pumwani and everywhere else, mothers are giving birth on the floors. But guess what? In Kalou, we are having mattresses, we are having blankets. It's okay, it's my hometown, and I agree, we love the development. Do you know today in Kalou, nobody goes to the farm? They all wake up to go to campaigns. Then this whole circuit of money operations, where is it coming from?
Right. Before we take a break, allow me to introduce Angel Mbudhia to this debate. Karibu sana, Angel. Angel is a chairperson, Jubilee Youth League. Jubilee also has a candidate among the 9 in the Kalou by-elections. You've heard what the IEBC chairperson has said. Yes. And now, because the biggest issue we're discussing here is alleged voter bribery. Do you feel that probably the IEBC should take the action it's talking about, postpone the by-election because of especially the allegations of voter bribery?
Fred, I think that the English were right to say that as you make your bed, so you must lie on it. And I think that's the kind of country that that we have today. This is what we elected in the August 2022. And I think that what's going on in Kalou is commendable. Because now the people of Kiambu are asking, when are they going to get their 20,000 gas cylinders that they have been seeing in Kalou? Because what is happening now is inequality. Others are getting and others are not getting. And people in Nyeri are asking the same. So now the country is wondering, is it that when we want development to go on in our constituencies, do we now wish death or do we wish resignation of our members of parliament so that we can cause by-elections? I think that what the government is doing in Kalou is what it should be happening across the nation. And if we are seeing that they are very ready to go to these lengths because they want to show their dominance or they want to show that they still control the narrative, it's quite interesting to see for a government that has had all this time, 4 years, to contribute to development and progress the nation. But all they do, when you ask them about national security, they tell you, why didn't you ask Uhuru Kenyatta this question when he was in office? When you tell them that the nation is headed in the wrong direction, they ask you, the nation has been headed in the wrong direction since 1963. I think that it's about time that we see exactly what this government is made of. And even when we go to church and we are told about the devil is not a monster with horns and a red face. The devil is beautiful and handsome at the same time. And Uhuru Kenyatta said it and said, these people of Mdomo Tam Tam, the people of Kenya, I hope they can decipher and see exactly what is going on, see through the curtains and understand exactly who it is they are dealing with.
All right.
And if they allow this to continue, and I am speaking to the people of Kalou now, whatever they are getting is government money, is government resources. And we saw the national budget on national security allocating 590 billion for expenditure to national security. And here is where you have the confidential budgets. And we also saw a similar allocation to the office of the president, coming from 4 billion in Uhuru Kenyatta's time to 17 billion in William Ruto's time. Even the national security budget was at 290 billion in 2021-2022. Now it's spanning at 590 billion. This is money that is going to be allocated to expenditures such as these ones, by elections that are going to occur, meetings in State House that are going to happen, and everyone takes away 10,000 shillings per person, a meeting of 2,000 people, and we are going to see a lot of that happening.
And the question is, and this is the question I asked you, does this qualify as voter bribery? And do you think the IEBC, if so, the IEBC should take the kind of action they've threatened, possibly even postpone the by-election?
I don't see what IEBC will change by postponing this election. I think that whatever is going on now is what government should have done. It's just fast-tracking it and concentrating it in one area.
It is not
I don't
bribery.
think IEBC should postpone that election. The people of Kalou are people of sound mind. They can make their decisions. Let's get to August. And
I'm looking for that. I'm looking for...
no, I don't think it's voter
bribery.
bribery.
Is it voter bribery or not?
No, I don't think it's voter bribery.
Okay.
They're just doing what they should have done years ago, in a span of 3 days, or in a span of 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Okay.
But we still want to remind the government of Kenya, the regime, that you cannot fatten the cow on market day. And I think the people of Kalou will withstand the test of time next week.
All right. We'll continue this conversation about what's happening in Kalou. It's only 6 days to the much anticipated by-elections, and it's very good that we have people in studio who are representing parties that have different candidates there. 9 candidates in total. But now, issues around whether or not integrity has been observed in the preparations or in the lead-up to this election have come up, and the IEBC says it may be forced to delay or postpone the by-election if this does continue. You're watching TV47 Breakfast. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Hiyo inaitwanga commitment to the lie. Amejicommit.
Ndio hiyo. Mpatie.
Unajua kama una mtu kitu, hata tu salamu ya kawaida inakaa kama reminder.
Habari yako?
Simtalipa kesho.
Kesho gani? When?
Kesho as in kesho ya tomorrow.
Hiyo tena. Mzee ni budi nikamchoka.
Ni budi ni madeni.
Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m.
You have to be very careful. Fake money can kill business.
Na leo mko rada yangu. Small money, kapesa kadogo, big behavior.
I only have big notes.
Alikuwa anatafuta courage.
Yaani nafaje kutengeneza kachumbari na manyanya zinakaa hivi? Ona kiki ni kama kiwaru.
Hiyo inaitwanga commitment to the lie. Amejicommit.
Ndio hiyo. Mpatie.
Unajua kama una mtu kitu, hata tu salamu ya kawaida inakaa kama reminder.
Habari yako?
Simtalipa kesho.
Kesho gani? When?
Si kesho as in kesho ya tomorrow.
Hiyo tena. Mzee ni budi nikamchoka.
Ni budi ni madeni.
Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Sundays at 8:30 p.m.
Good morning.
You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza hii simu yako.
Hamna pesa.
I need 3 G's to make my nails today.
Sasa hivi natuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na trade. Nimewekelea kitele yangu. Kitele yangu na trade. Ikikunywa maji.
Oh my God, he left me. Nitumieni live.
Uko nje kuna wifi.
Why? High five?
Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea. The cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tamulini kero umeka kwa beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already.
We won't entertain divas.
No. I'm not dealing with a man child.
Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
My father used to tell me that a hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Booyah! We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience.
All right, welcome back. This is TV47 Breakfast on this very nice Friday morning, July 10th. 6 days to the All Kalou by-election, which everyone is talking about. All the front pages today, it's about All Kalou. The Weekend Star, why All Kalou is a do or die for Ruto and Rigathi. Daily Nation, a battle of bigwigs in All Kalou, including former President. Standard open bribery. I think even on the front page of the People Daily, the same. All Kalou, All Kalou, All Kalou. It's what we are focusing on this morning, and what we are witnessing here, Edwin, is more or less a reflection of what we should anticipate next year. Are we saying that the kind of government action we are seeing in All Kalou days before the by-election is the same strategy that is going to be employed in the 2027 election? Even if it doesn't qualify as voter bribery, the government is keen to be seen to be doing things. Will we witness the same? Is it even sustainable?
What the government of Kenya, under the leadership of His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto, is focused on doing is transforming the livelihoods of the citizens of Kenya. And All Kalou is part of Kenya. And the people of All Kalou deserve development, same way as the people of Nyali, or the people of Marsabit, or the people of Lamu, wherever, all over Kenya. Every single person deserves development. The question of time, the government of His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto was elected for a 5-year period. So delivery of the promises that the government made has no time limit up until 2027, I mean, when the president leaves office. So comparing these two situations, I'd say, I mean, it's neither, I mean, you can't really say that this is the true reflection, because we're not doing what we're doing in All Kalou as a campaign strategy. We're just, it's a time coincidence that the campaign period and the delivery of government projects has just come to meet at a junction. And
that all CSs are descending on All Kalou with the same 1 week, days to the by-election, pure coincidence.
I've just told you that the people of All Kalou are Kenyans, and they deserve development, same way as the people of Kiambu and the people of Marsabit or Lamu, everywhere. So the CS for, I mean, for instance, the CS for roads, coming to All Kalou and commissioning a road has nothing to do with the campaigns. It has, I mean, these are people who deserve a road. And these are promises that were, some of them were made even way before. Even, I mean, during when the president was signing charters with people from all over the country. This is what the president promised these people. So the opposition trying to fit this against the UDA party, the issue of resources is neither here nor there, because they're also using whatever the resources they have on the ground. Whoever has whatever resources they can use to, mobilize their votes can do so however they want. You cannot, interfere with a party's campaign strategy. We have not interfered with how they are branding their candidate with beards and everything, and buying him suits, forcing women to, give him money. They hijack our people coming from our meetings and branding them in their T-shirts and giving them money, forcing them to trump our T-shirts and capes. Such theatrics is what we're talking about, that these people keep going back to, crying fall and everything. And it is the same thing that played out in Bere. It is the same thing that played out in Dikir. They tried the same in Malava. You remember even the candidate in Malava talking about a sub-tribe taking up the constituency. And you wonder, what has a sub-tribe from a different county got to do with an election? So we want to urge the opposition. And it's good that I'm here with my sisters here. The people of Mount Kenya are progressive people. This thing of, shooting down development every time, we've not experienced this in our region. We've not seen a situation whereby development troops down to our region and our people, and not our people actually, some of the leaders in our region are the first people to come out and say, msichukue hii, msichukue development. We've not seen this. And the reason as to why this is happening is because one man is bitter for having been impeached from office for his own misdoings. Okay. So we want to ask these parties in opposition, don't drag the people of Kalou, who are of sound mind, as my sister Angel said. They know how to elect a good leader, and they're seeing, and they are on the ground, they're experiencing all these people, and they know on the 16th who deserves their vote.
Right. Njeri, and I know I've asked you this question before. It appears like a cycle. The same thing happening, same results happen in Bere after what happened in Bere, and the DP candidate lost. Complaints, the United Alternative Government crying foul. We saw the same in Malava. Dikir was a bit different. They took notice of the numbers there. But this time round, and given the kind of reaction we're getting from leaders from your party, it's the same thing, crying foul. Do you feel you've lost the battle? Because the Star describes it as a do or die.
First of all, I want to be lenient with my friend from UDA and tell him that I presume he has been in UDA offices for a very long time and he has not had a chance to go to the ground. So the moment he's telling us that coincidentally that government projects and the by-election found themselves in the same lane, it is very diabolical, because if that is the case, then probably we should have seen the gazette notices of these tenders. We should have seen it in the budget allocation for this financial year. Maybe he should tell us which financial year these projects have been allocated to, because these are things that are gazetted. Secondly, I would want to tell him, I've heard him very ignorantly talk about we are forcing people to give us money. First of all, when people give you 10 shillings literally today can't even buy you a packet of salt. So people are giving us just the smallest that they have, the least that they can have. And they are getting this money from the 1,000 they are being given from UDA. And I can tell him one thing. First of all, I need to inform him, when he go back to the UDA offices, it is important for him to tell him that currently DCP has received over 20 cylinders donated from the people that they gave the cylinders, and they have brought us the cylinders and have told us, even if they give us cylinders, we have come to your party with the cylinders. I also want to inform him that yesterday we received at least 7 mattresses from people they had given from government, who came to DCP and said, tumechukua gondoro, tumechukua gas, mimi ni wawanta. So I need him maybe to get some footing on what is happening on the ground. And I also need him to know that the boats that they have given people, everything that they have given people, they are willing to share with us. Actually, yesterday, our candidate, Sammy Douglas Kamau Waweru, was hosted in another radio. And by the time he left studio, his phone number was to a maximum. people were sending him money because they understand DCP candidate does not have SHA money. They understand DCP candidate does not have the 19 billion allocation that is given to State House that is being channeled right now to campaigns. When he talks about UDA...
Is that your strategy, playing the underdog?
Not really. You see, we are a new party. We have not had any government funding the way political parties have because we've never gone to any general election. So when UDA is trying to tell us that this is money from their party, maybe he needs to check with his bosses how much UDA is given every allocation year. Then he can paint us a picture of how that small amount of money has been able to run their structures in the party and at the same time able to bring billions in the development. To answer your questions of in terms of opposition crying every time. Do we expect the same
thing? Do we expect you to challenge this result in court?
One, I can tell you for a fact, at a free and fair election, DCP has already banked this seat. Why am I telling you so? With the shortage of resources, the fact that we don't have the machinery of state, the fact that we've not even had the capacity to even talk to every individual and give them money or give them foodstuffs or give them anything, but they still wear our merchandise, they still chant our songs. That goes along to tell you that the people are tired. And the people of Nyandarua, by the way, told me that why they are so excited that government is finally coming to realization that they need to upgrade the kind of voter bribery they do when they comes to by-election. Because if you remember very well, in Emurua, in Mbere, in Malava, the kind of development that those people were given cannot match what is in Nyandarua County. That goes a long way to tell you that the moment we as Mount Kenya region told them, wasiguze mrima, we actually meant it. Now the price of buying back the mountain is 10 times the amount of money being spent on other by-elections. Today, if you check the government machinery in Kalou today, you'll understand how much it is going to cost this regime to do campaigns in Mount Kenya region. And finally, I saw our good friend, the bad girl, Millie Othiambo, talk about right now Kenyans are anticipating and hoping that every other MP can resign or step aside for them to get development. Unfortunately, the same would not happen if it was in Western. But this is specifically to the mountain region, which goes a long way in our history to tell us that it is always important when sometimes you listen to advice, even sometimes from the people that you think are the least people to advise you. Because I remember, Fred, we were with you here during the impeachment process, and everybody kept saying this is a blunder, this is a mess. But the government did not take it into consideration. Today, when they talk of they can postpone an election, that is already an indicator that they've realized if it is held next week on Thursday, they know very well the margin they are going to get from DCP is quite embarrassing, humiliating, and it is going to outdo every coin they have given.
It's interesting to talk about the margin because Jubilee as well has a candidate, Angel. You listen to the DCP party talking about its candidate. The Daily Nation at least has acknowledged the fact that Jubilee is also present by including the image and the angle that your party's petrol is also involved in this. How do you think Jubilee is faring there in this battle? David Keraho, the late MP, was a Jubilee party member. This was a Jubilee zone. This was a Jubilee seat. How come we're not hearing more of the Jubilee?
But Fred, you can see Uhuru Kenyatta's image there, so that speaks for Jubilee Party.
How is Jubilee faring in this?
Jubilee Party is faring well on the nomination, on this election, on this by-election. I think that Engineer Keraho, Engineer Kigwa, is the right guy to lead Nyandarua County. He has done amazing works in Kalou. And even his track record in terms of being an engineer, he has helped communities in Kalou drill boreholes, support children in education. I don't know what criteria the people of Kalou are going to choose to elect their leader, because it's a very exciting by-election to watch. It's more exciting even than the World Cup finale that will just be coming 3 days later. And I think that it's important that Kenyans also know that the bed they make, they must lie on it. If they elect a comedian, they are going to get a comedian. If they elect a musician, they are going to get a musician. we cannot expect a bicycle to perform like a Mercedes-Benz. And what I have seen with Engineer Kigwa is that he is a very composed man. The other day I was watching their debate in a different platform, and I saw how he's very passionate about Olkalau people. He's contested before in the election. He understands the community of Olkalau so much, and the party, Jubilee Party, has been very supportive to him in terms of helping him campaign, helping him go to door to door, move from door to door, and he's really showed the resilience that is there. What I wished, however, maybe as Angel Mbuthia, is that I wish we fronted one candidate as a united opposition.
Because that's a question I wanted to ask.
But again, you know, there are two things we cannot be able to do, and it would be so wrong for us to say that we are stepping down the Jubilee candidate in favor of the PNU candidate or the DCP candidate. But because at the same time, we also have to allow people to elect the parties that they choose to have.
We did not see that in Bere North. We did not see that in Malava. I saw people drop out.
Yes, we did.
Especially in Bere, the DCP candidate dropped out.
Yeah, the Jubilee candidate dropped out as well. We dropped out our Jubilee candidate in Bere.
Yes. How come it did not happen this time around? How come you did not find congruence as a united alternative government?
The people of Kenya want to elect the political parties that they choose. And that's the kind of grappling we have, because even Jubilee Party and PNU Party have an agreement to support one presidential candidate, but still the people want to be allowed to elect the person they feel fully on the ballot, regardless of the memorandums of understanding.
Should this be a reflection of what we should expect next year, that there will be such contestations within the constituent parties?
I think 2027 is going to be a very revolutionary elective moment, because we are going to see a lot of political parties getting elected, getting into parliament and different kinds of offices, even from the county assemblies as well. The only position that we are not doubting about, because we have to take down Edwin and his friends, is a presidential seat. That one we are not gambling about it. And the people of Kenya are the same ones who are telling us that if we take, if everyone goes to the ballot, we are going to lose it. And it is very clear, because at the same time, when we are looking at InfoTrack polls and all these other polls, they're showing that each candidate has about 20, 10, 15%. William Ruto has about 17%, and we are still yet to verify who these 17% are. So if you combine what the opposition has into one, William Ruto is gone home by 6:30 a.m. in the morning. But now that is what the people have decided. They've told us that every time we engage them, they're saying, give us one person who we are going to support. If you decide it's going to be Njeri Kahiga, they are going to support Njeri Kahiga.
But for the presidency.
For the presidency.
But
for these other seats, they want to elect the people that they want.
Is that the agreement, Jerry? That going forward, the constituent parties within the formation you work with will front candidates for any other possible seat apart from the presidency?
First of all, I would not want to speak on behalf of my party leader, but he has repeatedly said that we are going to free-field candidates in the whole country as DCP party. You saw us bang a seat in Kakamega County. You saw us get another MCA seat in Kajiado. You saw us get another MCA seat in Nairobi. That goes to tell you that for DCP party, we are going to be everywhere in the nation. And when it comes to matters presidential candidate, my party leader, Rigathi Gachagua, has been very clear on it. If the formula used favors him, he's going to deal with this guy square and home. And if by chance this formula does not favor him, whoever the formula favors, we are going to throw our weight behind him, as long as there is a clear structure of how we are going to run the operation of a combined campaign from all other parties, and we are going to carry out one mission as a country. And I think for every other position, the governors, women reps, MPs, it is important that every party brings on board their candidate. That one, as a young person, I feel it really helps every young person who does not have the political muscle to be in the party that they think is the most popular, or they don't have the muscle to go fight for space in every other one party. We can't go back to one party. We have to have multipartism.
Anyone watching from outside would feel that you're splitting the votes, like in this instance in the Kalou contest, that it doesn't serve the United Alternative Government to have 3 candidates against one from the UDA party.
First of all, when we go to parliament, the lower house and the upper house, coalitions are counted as one. DCP party, Jubilee, PNU, all of them If combined they are the majority, they are given the majority leader. If they are the minority, they get the minority leader. And that can only happen. Like today, I am vying for women rep Nyandarua County. Angel is vying for women rep Kiambu County with Jubilee Party, I mean DCP Party. So as a young person, it is very important that we have multi-partism. It is very important that we have a woman rep vying with PNU, Jubilee, DCP, all these parties. Reason being, if I cannot fit in this political party as a young person, because of very many other factors, because again, the politics in party politics is a whole other class of politics that we need to safeguard as young people. I cannot allow that today I tell Angel, if you're not in DCP Kiambu chapter, I'll not support you. Our people there, let her go talk to her people. Her party is in the united opposition. If she banks the seat, she brings a seat to the united opposition. And her party individually, at their level, either gets to have more at the national cake, the nomination slots, all these appointments and everything else. But we can never narrow down to saying that if it's not this party, then it's nobody else. Because me as a young person, I believe there are leaders who will not necessarily join those parties that we presume are the leading parties in their counties. Like today we talk of Edwin Sifuna. He's the presidential candidate of Linda Mwananchi. He has been the SG in ODM. It would be very unfair to say that he can only be a presidential candidate if he's in the ODM. Let people go where they feel they are given seats. And as young people, I tell people, go where you are valued. If today Angel wakes up and feels she wants to shift, let it be because she wants, not because the community and society has put us in one basket of thinking that if it's not this party, development can come. Because again, we need to be very honest. I've never had any member of parliament denied funding in a financial year simply because of the party that they are. But yes, they are denied them to lobby an extra based on their political parties. But the actual funding in the constitution, in the office that they hold, will never lack. They can only lack every other things, the extras that comes with being the party in government or being the party in opposition.
Okay. Edwin, what do you think of this, how it's playing out? Do you think it, according to Jerry, it says it really helps the young politicians? But the president has been very keen on having one big monolithic party. UDA, he never favored a coalition from the word go. Probably out of convenience, he had to include other parties. But he is a champion for one huge party. Do you see this kind of strategy working towards 2027?
First, I'd like to say, having worked under President William Ruto, I understand his vision, and he's looking at a situation whereby this has been here even at the inception of the UDA party, that President William Ruto was determined to be part of a big political party in Kenya that withstands political waves even after an election. And that is why you've seen the UDA party maintain its momentum from election up to now. And back to what these people from opposition are saying, JB Muturi, the other day, somewhere with Kalonzo, was out speaking about how they have to announce a presidential candidate, and some other people at some corner in Wamunyoro were saying that they're not ready to do that because they think once they do that, I don't know what's going to happen to them. Yet these are Kenyans. We know all of them. We understand all of them. They're not going to get a candidate from Uganda or Tanzania. And I want to ask my sister Njeri to be careful not to blow up chances for the ticket in Nyandarua, because she's becoming a mistress of doublespeak, because their party has branded people as Gakunias, if you understand what that means, sellouts. And the campaign strategy right now in Kalou is if someone else is coming in to seek this elective post and they're not from DCP, they are sellouts. And you should watch out for them, mark them as a crow. And this thing is now cascading to political parties also. She's saying that Angel is going to vie with Jubilee in Kiambu, yet they have said a number of times that they are looking out for other political parties coming in the Mount Kenya region, and they will brand these parties as small wheelbarrows. So if Jubilee is coming in with a candidate, they'll say, this is a red wheelbarrow. If another party is going to come in, they'll say this is a blue wheelbarrow. So this thing we're seeing with the opposition is so inconsistent. They're so inconsistent in getting the agenda right, in getting the candidate right, in agreeing on simple issues, 12 months to the elections. And this is how they'll go to the elections and then again start crying foul, saying the election has been stolen and all manner of stuff. And Angel said that they're waiting to see where these 17% that these poll tracks and everything is trying to say that William Ruto has. And I want to tell them, there is a very big silent majority in Kenya that sees, that understands, that has experienced real-time development by this government and is willing to just wait and cast their vote to the right candidate. And this is what these people can't get right. They can't get an agenda right. They can't say what they're willing to do for Kenyans. All we have heard from the party leader, I don't know if he is the principal, the Wamunyoro, if he's the principal of the opposition on top of everybody else, is that if he's the one who gets a chance to carry the flag for the opposition, he's going to demolish the affordable houses that the president has been building. Now, here's a situation whereby one man, despite the fact of being in a single party, is advocating for building roads, building houses, building hospitals, building stadiums, getting people good livelihoods. And then here's another situation whereby, regardless of people being in different parties, they're talking about, kubomoa, kubomoa, tutatoa hii. Yet they can't say, if you get this mandate, what are you going to do different?
Okay. It's about strategy. And each political party right now is working on its strategy, perhaps secretly, some openly towards 2027. And it's a strategy each party or each coalition will employ that could emerge victorious in the end. This strategy of using very many parties openly disagreeing on some decisions, how does it play out for you? We've had those statements, as Edwin says, the pronouncements by the DCP party leader on any other party within Mount Kenya. Do you think it works? Jerry kind of supports you, but do you think it works?
I think that we just celebrated Sabasaba, and we remember the fruits of our forefathers who labored tirelessly. Not even our forefathers, some are even our parents. They are with us now, and I think it's important that we allow a strong legislative arm of government after 2027, because what we are seeing now is absolutely ridiculous. Our parliament is the one standing between us and removing William Ruto from office, and I wish my brother Edwin here would join his brother Edwin Sifuna, so that they can fight for a better nation. And I think that there are three things this government is trying to do. One, when I look at how it is managing opposition politics, it is trying to ensure that everyone is being fought in their own backyard. Someone like James Orengo can go to his home and his stones are pelted at him. Someone like Dr. Fred Matiang'i can go to his home constituency, and a few people are assigned the role of ensuring that he must not get into his own home. The other thing happens even with Rigathi Gachagua. He's trying to go to Kikuyu and have a meeting with the United Opposition. They ensure that they tear gas him, they send goons and all manner of kinds of intimidation. That's one strategy the government is using. And even the other one is ensuring that United Opposition meetings or any opposition meeting is disrupted. Number one, they can either send snakes, because in one of our meetings with Dr. Fred Matiang'i in Nakuru, they sent snakes in the midst when he was speaking to try and disturb the meeting. Snakes. Edwin needs to join his brother Edwin Sifuna and stop bandwagging and flogging this very incompetent government. And in another meeting, the one we had in Kikuyu, they sent bees in the midst of a meeting. Wanarusha mzinga wa nyuki katikati wa umati. The government, a whole government, with a commander-in-chief of the armed forces sending that. And if that doesn't work, now they send goons and they tear gas to intimidate the opposition. The other thing that we are seeing from this government is that they try every manner of way to show that they are in the opposition, yet they are in government. Because William Ruto has perfected the art of being in the opposition. You remember in 2022, You could not tell that Raila Odinga was the one in opposition and William Ruto was the one in government. He acted as if he was the opposition while he was in government. That this government is frustrating me, is derailing me. These are the tactics that this government is looking at. The other thing is that we are seeing this government micromanages everything and does very much to ensure that the young people are suppressed. And this government hates two things, Edwin. You need to know that the government hates, number one, political parties. That is why we are saying with Njeri here that we must ensure everyone runs in the party that they desire. That is one thing this government does not want to see. The freedom of expression, especially through political parties. Number two, Edwin, I need to tell you this.
But there's some figures within the opposition who don't want that as well.
People. This government hates young people. Fred, first of all, I want Edwin to hear that one first, so that he can know that where he is, if he's not getting 10,000 every day or more to support this regime, then he's in the wrong place. And what you're saying that there are some people in the opposition that don't want that. You know, we also have some people in the opposition who we are not sure whether they are with us in the opposition. So government is also sending people to us to ensure that we are not aligning in the same agenda. The government is also trying to push the narrative that we need to produce a candidate right now. We have enough time, Edwin, to produce a candidate. We can even produce a candidate 3 months to election. The formula does not have to work now. William Ruto is running around like a headless chicken because he does not know who his opponent is. He doesn't know whether his opponent is Kalonzo Musyoka. Does not know whether his opponent is Dr. Fred Matiang'i. He does not know whether his opponent is Rigathi Gachagua. Does not know whether his opponent is Edwin Sifuna. He does not know who his enemy is. And even doctors will tell you, when you have a virus that you don't know how its structure is, you're not able to decipher as a vaccine or find treatment for it. That is William Ruto. He's running around like a headless chicken. He does not know who his enemy is. That is why you're seeing him putting so much pressure on the opposition, saying that this one has decided it is Kalonzo Musyoka. This one has decided it is Dr. Fred Matiang'i. This one has decided they want to let out the cat out of the bag. But it is not us. I want to tell the people of Kenya, we have enough time to decide on who will become the flag bearer. We have enough time. Everyone needs to go to their backyard. Everyone needs to go to their constituency, get their blessing. If it is someone like me from Kiambu, let me go to the people of Kiambu. And let's hear what they have to say. Even as I seek to run for woman rep in the county of Kiambu and take my fierce representation to the parliament in the next parliament after 2027, we have to go back to the people and hear exactly what it is they have to say about how we can better run this nation of Kenya. Okay. Because we know this government is trying every shape and form to frustrate us. What William Ruto did on Sabasaba was very, very wrong. Throwing out police officers across the nation, barricading different entities. That shows, number one, he is very fearful of what is going to happen in 2027. And I want to tell Edwin, he has a disapproval rating of 80%. That is why he is panicking the way he's panicking. He is not taking any chances with what is up to happen next.
All right.
So Edwin needs to be advised clearly. Please join your brother Edwin Sifuna and fight for this nation.
And I want us to talk about Edwin Sifuna now. I'll come back to you, Edwin, later. Because interestingly, none of you belongs to Linda Mwananchi, but you've mentioned Edwin Sifuna quite a number of times. Njeri, is Edwin Sifuna that big of a factor? And how does he connect to all this? Is it because this is a youth perspective? Is that how we see Edwin Sifuna from your angle? What exactly is this Sifuna phenomenon?
First of all, I've heard Edwin talk about, I don't really repeat the words of my party leader. And I want to tell him that is what a leader as a young person does. I know myself as Njeri Kahiga, this is what I stand for, and that is why I'm always very keen to say I'm not going to speak on behalf of my party leader because I don't even have the authority to. And I would also advise him that if I was part of government, and God forbid such a government that is right now in office, and they did anything or spoke anything that I don't stand with, I would as well speak as Njeri Kahiga because I don't believe in sycophancy. Even when we used to sell BAMBA, the moment that he betrayed us as young people, I came here, Fred, and told you, this is betrayal. So for me, when I talk about young people need to be given the freedom, is because I understand that eventually we as young people have to collectively, generation conspiracy, deal with the status quo in political parties across the board that ensures that every young person in their respective parties has a position so that we all go to parliament as a generation and deal with these generational injustices that are happening to the young people who join the political platform. On your question of Edwin Sifuna, one, I've never been a member of ODM, but I was in Azimio. And him, Babu Owino, are leaders that I look and I say, in the next 10, 15 years, this is somebody that I would not mind looking up to and telling him now it's time for us as a generation, because we have to be very honest. 2027 should be the last time that we have the category of, you know, the leaders that are currently being mentioned as presidential candidate. This is the last time we talk of William Ruto and his friends. It's the last time we talk of the KANU leaders who were there as youth leaders back then, still being part of a conversation of presidential. 2027 is the last time that we as young people concede and say it's not our time yet. And even if today as a young person, I go to the ballot and I find that my party leader, Rigathi Gachagua, has not been fortunate enough to be at the ballot, and I find that the united opposition has settled on Sifuna, I would gladly vote for him. When we talk of Edwin Sifuna, we cannot ignore him because, one, he has brought out our grievances, even when they were in this broad-based government. Edwin Sifuna was the SG of ODM when it went into bed with government. But when the finance bill came, and even his own party leader was in support of it, he stood up on the street and told police officers, stop shooting to the demonstrators. Edwin Sifuna has been very categorical. I am the SG of ODM, but this is my stand on finance bill. This is my stand on this government. This is my stand in matters that have been raised by Kenyans. So for me as a young person, when I look at him, regardless of which outfit he wears, he has been very keen to draw a clear boundary between him and his party affiliation. His party affiliation did not stop him from standing up with the Gen Zs every time we called up to him. He has been there in the court of law. He has been there with Babu Owino, standing up with Kenyans despite their ODM affiliations. So today when he comes to opposition with Linda Mwananchi, I will support him to the extent that he needs. This weekend, we saw them post that they are going to be Linda Mwananchi in Nyandarua County. If my schedule allows me, I will be there with them, because they are coming to say one term, which I've been saying for the longest time. They are coming to say this government has burdened Mwananchi. I've been saying that for the longest time. It's just that my outfit is luminous green. Their outfit is Linda Mwananchi. But our ideology are merging at a point. Eventually,
would you attend a Jubilee meeting, for example, or a Jubilee rally, now that you say you would attend the Linda Mwananchi? You're in the same coalition.
You see, when it comes to Jubilee Party as an individual, their party leader and my party leader have attended events together. They have gone to burials, they've gone to events together. You see, when Linda Mwananchi has come today, first of all, Linda Mwananchi has not even settled down on which political party they want to wear. It's still a movement. So Linda Mwananchi is for every Mwananchi who wants to be Linda. I want to be Linda, she wants to be Linda. But when the day they settle down that our political party is called TV47 or any other name, then from there, they will always extend invite. You have seen Jubilee Party attend PLP events when we do when PLP has events. You have seen Jubilee DCP Party attend DP parties at Ufangamano House. You have seen us attend parties within events within opposition. We attended the Wiper in Uhuru Park. Jubilee was present. In Jobudia was present. She was given a chance to talk. In our party, Ken Babu was there to speak on our behalf. So what I'm telling you is Linda Mwananchi has individuals that me as Njeri Kahiga, first of all, admire. When we talk of the recent awardings that we are given, the first woman rep who was awarded #1 was women rep, my mentor, Njeri Maina. #1 in the MP slot was Honorable Babu Owino. #1 in Senate was Senator Kirinyaga County. So then how do you tell me that I should ignore Babu Owino and Sifuna simply because they don't wear DCP colors? No, I am going to support them anytime their ideologies and mine agree. The moment they disagree, I take my stand as Njeri Kahiga, because I don't want to be confined in the politics that were there during KANU. That if Moi says it's kidole moja, you all have to say it because you have no option. Okay. We want to liberate our young people to an extent that today, if anything happened to Angel, and she's a Jubilee member, the first person you'll see raising the issue is none other but the people around her, me. Regardless of my party, we've always come together, regardless of our political affiliations. The only party we have a serious and a great very wide differences with is UDA party, because they have refused to listen to the young people. They have refused to respect our constitution.
Let's get the perspective of this member of the UDA party, because either way, this Sifuna phenomenon, if I may call it that, you must have a reaction to it. The things they're doing in Western Kenya, which could complicate the arithmetic for the UDA party. Seeing this kind of reaction from younger political minds in Kenya definitely says something about that movement. What do you feel about it?
First, I'd want to tell my sister Njeri, Edwin Sifuna is the worst nightmare to her party leader. And if she keeps praising Edwin Sifuna and Linda Mwananchi, I remind her that she's going to blow up her chances for the nomination ticket for her woman rep seat in Nyandarua, because Rigathi Gachagua has come out to talk about how they are the more like gatekeeping the opposition to these old guards, Kina JB, Rigathi, Matiang'i, Karua, and stuff. And now, Edwin Sifuna and Babu Owino and the bandwagon have come in and they have destabilized. They have shaken the table. You saw that meme for hiyo meza unatingisha iko na very expensive drinks. Now, these guys have blown up their party. Wameinterfere na party yao, and now they have to leave the party early. I don't want to look down upon any leader in this republic. I want to say Edwin Sifuna, Babu Owino, all these people are leaders. They're young people like us, and they're people that are doing tremendous works. We cannot sit and say that they don't have, an opinion, because they're Kenyans, and every Kenyan is entitled to their own opinion. But to me, and to other people of like mind, Edwin Sifuna is just but a man with an opinion. And if that is not something to, check against, just wait a few months up mbele, you'll see this opposition is going to go separate ways. Because now there are talks of Linda Mwananchi culminating down to a party.
Edwin, you've done a proper diagnosis of what the opposition, what this portends for the opposition. I was hoping you would do a diagnosis of what this Sifuna factor would do to UDA. It's not a factor to us. They have come out to say that the only party they have a problem with is UDA. So it is not a concern of issues or factors with Edwin Sifuna or anything. It's just a strategy on how to destabilize the UDA party and the government of President William Samoei Ruto. So to me, all these people look the same. If Rigathi Gachagua said that Sifuna is not a special headache for the UDA.
He's not. How?
Okay.
You saw over the weekend in Bungoma, he can't even call shots on his perceived backyard, because this is supposed to be his backyard, and according to how it's being made come out. And these people have said a number of times that they're retreating to their tribal cocoons to, mobilize within their tribes. And I am from Mount Kenya. I am running for MP in Dagoretti North, which is a majorly cosmopolitan constituency. And this is the situation whereby you can't come and say that I'm coming to you as a person from DCP because most of you are Kikuyus, or I'm coming to you from Wiper because we are full of Kambas here. And now these people have also asked Edwin Sifuna, go back to your backyard in Bungoma or Bungoma and Trans Nzoia, where Bukusus are concentrated. And if you go to the sides of Kakamega, where we have Wangas and other Maragolis and Vihigas and everything, now they say, apana, huku, Malala anashikilia. Now, Edwin Sifuna now does not become a factor to us, because when we look at them, they all speak the same language. And to us, we see a people that are just uniting to dethrone one man, President William Samoei Ruto. So to us, it's not really a factor. Yeah.
Fred, on the issue that he's talking about, that if I continue championing or talking about Sifuna, I risk my nomination. I want to tell him that in DCP party, we do free and fair nominations. And I'm also very apologetic to him that he has lived with a dictator who writes them notes on what to say in meetings and what to say on political shows. that anytime they hear another young person speak independently, they fear for them. I want to tell him very candidly that Rigathi Gachagua has listened to me do political debates even when he was in government. I was here when I used to support and talk very boldly of the Azimio party, of the Azimio coalition. And I have always been an independent minder because I am not going to conform to that structure that you have to say this because if you don't say this, this is going to happen. I'm going to say what needs to be said. Sifuna is the guy that we as young people, we cannot ignore. They also can't ignore. Linda Mwananchi rallies are the only movements that you'll never see any political party colors. But people show up. And I want to tell him, huko UDA, kama hana kichele, and if he's not making money, please, as young people, we are going to look at you very badly in future. When we don't see you with a G-Wagon and some class 2 dropout has one, yet you guys were in the same party, it's going to be very bad.
Angel, it did not escape my notice that you mentioned Sifuna quite a number of times, even more than you mentioned your party leader. And I also want to understand how you perceive this phenomenon, this Sifuna's phenomenon. How does it play out for you as a leader?
Fred, in all shape and sense, all factors held constant. Even when you remove things about tribal politics, where I'm from and my last name, I honestly think that the winning ticket for 2027 should be Matiang'i Sifuna. Matiang'i and Edwin. And not Edwin Jage, for the avoidance of doubt. I mean Edwin Sifuna. Matiang'i and Sifuna. Number one, because I think that Matiang'i is a no-nonsense leader. He has shown that he's not playing politics the way they have traditionally been played. He does not bow down to mediocrity. And he will ensure that things work. I think for him, that's how his mind works. And he doesn't understand even or entertain the kind of politics that we do. He challenges me quite a lot as my presidential candidate. Sifuna is another man, and by Edwin, I mean Edwin Sifuna, that guy has demonstrated that he can fight when things are popular and unpopular. These are the kind of leaders that we want. These are the kind of leaders that I emulate, and I would want to showcase even to the people of Kiambu. Get people who are ready to say no when it is good and when things are good or when things are bad. Not for you to go to parliament toilets and take 10,000 shillings and vote yes. Because now we can look at all the other things that we want to look at for a member of parliament or for a leader, a national leader. But when it matters most, the people of Kenya are asking you, when we were voting for the finance bill, why did you abstain? They're asking that question. So abstaining is no longer a very comfortable thing by
fence sitting.
Abstaining or not being present when you would rather vote yes or you vote no. If you vote yes, there are consequences for that. If you're voting no, there are also consequences for that. And I think that's the Kenya that we want. 5 years from now, when Edwin Jage will be wanting to run for president in this nation, I will remind him how he threw his generation under the bus today. I will not forget. And the internet does not forget. And that's why I'm telling him he needs to change very quickly. By Sunday, he needs to be in Nyandarua with his brother Edwin Sifuna to ensure that we fight for our nation, because our country we need a nation where we are able to use our papers to be able to access opportunities, not your last name, not who you know. And we are getting to see that our country is getting into an area where if you are not in government, you are not wealthy. There are progressive and progressed nations where if, let's say, for example, in the United States, when Trump was elected president, there are people who did not subscribe to Trump's agenda in the government in the US government. They resigned and went to do other things. Because there's a whole industry in the US of the private sector, there's the non-profit sector, you can go and do business, you can go and do films in Hollywood. Here in Kenya, if you do not become an MCA, if you don't become the CEC of Treasury or Youth or Environment, you are nothing. Or you don't become someone in parliament or someone in the executive. That mentality must change. We cannot be creating wealthy people from government. That should not be the case. Even when Barack Obama was being elected to president, he was taking a huge pay cut from his law practice before he set himself out to serving the public. Taking a huge pay cut. Here in Kenya, you take an upgrade, even if you're leaving the private sector to come into the public sector.
And do you feel Sifuna is a best personification of that kind of ideal leadership?
I think Sifuna has sacrificed a lot. I don't even think he knew this would come. We've become a nation where we deject people, we throw them under the bus, like what the ORPP has just rubber-stamped that his removal was legal and clearly defined by the ODM constitution. In and the same thing has happened to Rigathi Gachagua. He fought so much to be retained as the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. But in real sense, he has become one of the best demonstrators of how walking out of a rogue regime can actually give you the blessing that you've never seen.
But generally, do you feel that this phenomenon, this Sifuna phenomenon is generally acceptable? Right now you're saying Linda Mwananchi is going to Kalou. Do the young people of Kalou identify with that? The same thing you're feeling. Do you think that people, mashinani, young people, I'm not talking about the older voters, identify with that? Please answer that question as each of you gets about 2 minutes to make your final comments, which you could choose to say anything else. Starting with you, Njeri.
First of all, I am glad that every young person in this country is able to access social media and they can see everything happening. And when Sifuna was humiliated in ODM, even during the burial of Mzee Baba, every young person saw it. And I can tell you one thing for sure, is that the young people don't care your tribe. They really don't care about your tribe. When injustice happens, they call you out. When they need to say it, they say it as it is. That is why you see young people today wearing t-shirts indicated Mimi ni Sifuna, and they are worn all over the country. Finally, as I close my remarks today, I want to talk to the young people who are in Kalou and every other person listening to me this morning. Government has brought so many things in Kalou town, and it is important for us to receive them, because even if you don't, another willing Kenyan somewhere will take them, put them in a suitcase, go to Dubai and buy apartments. So it is okay if they bring development. Our unfortunate situation is that we will never be able to audit that kind of development that they bring. So today, as Njeri Kahiga, this is the last Friday during this by-election, and I feel as a young person it is important that I plead with the voter of Kalou constituency to please vote in Sammy Douglas Kamau Waweru as their next member of parliament, because we need more numbers in parliament, because the last finance bill it was not possible for it to be opposed because the numbers were not enough. So we need to add more soldiers on the side that protects Mwananchi. We need to add more leaders on the side that speaks out for Mwananchi. And finally, we need to ensure that this Kalou by-election is a lesson to the Kenya Kwanza government and William Ruto as the sitting president, that the young people, the people of this nation, are tired. The voter in Kalou is tired. The voter in the Mount Kenya region is tired. The voter in this nation is tired of your burdening taxes and everything else wrong you've been doing, killing the young people and everything else. And finally, as I finish, is that when we as young people come together, regardless of our political affiliations, it is important that we support each other. And we always remember that it will always be the young people fighting for their space. The old people have never fought for their space. It is always us as young people. Yeah.
Thank you, Njeri. Edwin.
Yeah, I'd like to say, I think Angel Mbuthia could be a real angel. You know, she just said that 5 years from now I could be running for president. But now the business is to support the sitting president. So yeah, I agree. I mean, I take that you're an angel sent to God to deliver that message on live TV here. But I want to say to the people of Kalou, this by-election has nothing to do with sellouts or tukunias and komereras and all that narrative that is being spun around. Because this is about issues. The person that is going to be elected as a member of parliament in Kalou constituency in Nyandarua County is a constituent of that same constituency, regardless of whatever party they are affiliated to. So first, get this thing off your minds that if you elect this person, you're electing a sellout, because they belong to your constituency, they belong to you, and they're part of you. So regardless of what ideologies they conform to, they are one of you. So this thing of fitting sister against sister, brother against sister, brother, this thing should come to a stop. And especially in the Mount Kenya region, we've seen this come out very outrightly, that a certain party is out to label others in a wrong manner. Let us encourage, as my sister Njeri said, let us look at it from a wider perspective and support one another, regardless of their stand. If today my sister Angel says that she is from Jubilee, I should be able to sit down and listen to what she has to offer. If Njeri says she's from DCP, I should be able to listen to what she has to offer. I should not judge her or be judged for coming from UDA party, telling me that I should be having a G-Wagon in 2 years or something. For your record, I mean, I'm a very simple man. I have no interest in owning a G-Wagon. If I do, so thanks be to God. But That is not my interest in, championing for leadership in this republic. I am looking at a situation whereby every young person in this republic will come out and say, this is what I'm looking for. Yes. And this is what I look forward to doing for you if you elect me. Not because I am from this tribe or because I have this much money. That does not count. It is about what you can offer as a young person in this country.
Thank you.
It's so sad because Edwin has not seen the G-Wagons that are going into Old Kalou and taking good
And the
things.
choppers.
And you don't have a
even traffic
G-Wagon.
of choppers.
Is very saddening. I'm so sorry, Edwin. Please join Edwin Sifuna on Sunday. And what I would like to say to the people of Kenya and my members of my generation, please adopt a polling station, adopt a candidate, find someone that you resonate with, because we are now in the season of occupying political parties. We have now transcended from occupying the streets, occupying parliament, occupying state house. Now we need to occupy political parties. And as the national youth leader of Jubilee Party, I am holding the door so that many of you can come into the political party so that we fight together. It is not going to be easy anywhere. There will not be red carpets anywhere for them to receive us, but we have to claim and own our space. So as members of my generation, I'd like to urge you, ensure if you have not registered as a voter, please ensure that you register as a voter, become a member of a political party, identify an MCA who is of your generation, identify a member of parliament, a woman rep, a senator, a governor. Get your place defined, because as we go into this political moment, we have to define it fruitfully and to the last end, that we ensure that our generation makes its claim on the Kenyan space. This country is ours, tusitishwe na tusiogope. Asanteni sana na mujienjoy weekend.
Very well said. Yeah, especially hapo mujienjoy weekend. Angel Mbudia, Chairperson Jubilee Youth League, Jerry Kahiga, National Youth Leader from the DCP Party, and Edwin Mawera Njage, who is a UDA Mount Kenya and Nairobi Metropolis strategist. Asanteni sana for your time at TV47 and for the very engaging debate we've had. It's been mostly about Old Kalou, the by-elections, much anticipated by-elections coming up in 6 days' time. Very many questions, including questions on the integrity of the process and whether or not government is engaging in open bribery, whether or not the IEBC could actually bite. They've even threatened to postpone or delay the election. We just have to wait and see. It's only in 6 days' time. Asante sana for your time. All right. Remember, just a reminder of what we're covering today, and this is the second disbursement of the second tranche of the National Youth Opportunities Towards Advancement, NYOTA, Business Startup Capital today. The nationwide launch is going on in 18 venues across the country. We have our reporters stationed across the country. Here in Nairobi, the main event will be at the Ulinzi Sports Complex, where President William Ruto is expected to preside over this. About 3 billion shillings grant is being disbursed, and it will benefit 122,000 young Kenyans. It is the Youth Perspective being a Friday. This is what we'll be talking about after the break. Do stand by.